Hey guys, welcome to episode 7 of our tuning guide series. Today is the scary subject for me, suspension geometry. But today is a little different. I went to a friend for this one, so we'll pull up his thing and take a look. Real quick, I'm going to leave his Twitch channel in the description, so be sure to thank Ozzy for helping today's video, and let's jump into it. So he has a full bass tuning guide notepad here that is super helpful. We'll see in another video, maybe we'll go over his notes and test them ourselves and see how they work. Video idea. But anyways, here highlighted now is his tuning guide for suspension geometry. Then I'm going to show you my suspension geometry tune that I've been doing, so that you have two ways of tuning this and hopefully understand it better. So firstly, his guide says bass values, leave at stock. Range is unpredictable but is more or less the most powerful when mitigating over/understeer. Roll center height, above notes apply here. Higher values will result in less suspension movement and will have less force applied on the springs. Lower values will have the opposite effect. More force is applied and will have more weight transfer. Make sure spring stiffness is adjusted before tuning this. Anti-dive. Higher anti-dive values will increase stability upon braking and entering corners, however will cause understeer if set too higher. If too stiff and understeery, lower values. Lower anti-dive will reduce stability upon braking and entering and will cause oversteer is left too low, but is useful if set up correctly to allow the car to seamlessly turn in without much input. If too unstable and back end is breaking away, raise values. So basically, if you raise roll center height values, it will make the suspension stiffer, but if you lower the values, it will make it feel softer. And the anti-dive is the most important thing here, as this is the most tricky thing to learn. Honestly, I'm still learning it, but I know enough now to get a good feeling tune. So again, as he says, higher anti-dive will make it feel stiffer, but will cause understeer, and lower anti-dive will reduce stability on braking and entering corners, and will cause oversteer. He didn't note this because you're meant to read the whole guide, but there is a balance between front and rear. If your front anti-dive is higher than the rear, I find it typically causes understeer, and if your rear is higher than the front, it causes oversteer. So this kinda changes the way we tune a little, but not a whole lot. I wanna do another guide after finishing this, giving more methods to tuning under and oversteer. But let's go in game and see what it wants. So this is about stock. If I remember right, it's close enough to demonstrate what stock would feel like, and how we can adjust it. Yeah, that's about stock. See, I think the devs believe the suspension geometry should be used to add understeer and correct slight things with the corner entry, mid-corner and corner exit, but I find it doesn't do that well. So let's begin with my personal bass setup that I've been using in almost every car. This adds a lot of oversteer. Reason I do this is I've been doing more of a safe setup with the anti-roll bars, the springs and the damping, so this is where I get all my oversteer from. So let's try it. This hasn't worked on every car, but we'll see how this works on this car. So I feel it still is a little too understeery, so I'm going to have less front anti-dive. I don't know why it works like this. If the rear number is larger than the front number in the negative, it causes oversteer. If the front number is larger than the rear number in positive, it causes oversteer. I don't know why, but that's how this works from my testing, and the opposite works too for understeer. Now it feels too soft, so we're going to take both values more towards positive to make it feel stiffer. Now it feels fine, but let's just try something. Let's try making it feel even stiffer, because less body roll is always nice, so let's try this. and that stiff feels fine, feels a lot stiffer but it does drive fine. Now I'm going to try something stupid, just to see if it works, and I wanna share this experience with you guys. Because again, I truly think the best part about being a tuner in Forza, is the experience you gain from trying stupid stuff. So we're going to try a super soft spring rate, with a stiff shock setup and a stiff anti-dive geometry setup. Let's see how that works. So now let's try with a rally-style suspension setup with this same geometry setup. Notice how the body is lifting up in the corner. What's awkward, it actually works somewhat well lol. I wouldn't do this normally but I think it actually does work. Also now we do that Jeep thing where the body lifts up under acceleration. So I think that's all the information I have on that subject. It's very interesting, very annoying, and makes tuning a lot harder, but not impossible. And again, honestly, you can just leave it stock and do well. When I didn't know how to tune it for myself, I left it stock and my tunes did absolutely fine. It just gives me the extra edge to make my tunes feel even better. Again, thank you to Ozzy for the help on this episode. Be sure to check him out, he's really fast, and be sure to like and subscribe with post notifications so that you don't miss any future episodes. Thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone is having a great day/night. See ya in the next one.